Hey guys, it's PW and we're back out in the garage. Actually, we're just still out in the garage. We just got the floor in place, we got it screwed down, and I feel like I was getting ready to start welding it. And I got to thinking, why don't I see if I could fit the trunk pan while I'm at it, in case I got to move the floor. You know, I don't think we do, but it wouldn't hurt anything to see if we can get it fitted in. So I started getting the remnant of the old floor off of that back lip of the light tray. Oh man, was that a mess. It's basically just rotted out, nothing left to it stuff. You can see here, it's like super light, there's nothing there. The lip itself, it was just, it's basically, you can see there's just like remnant of metal left. All through here, you can see it's well, you can see it right there. It's just putty. It's this. Let me show you here. Here's some of the lip we were looking at earlier. Look how thick that is, and it's like it's got rust in it, but it's I think it was just a build-up rusty end. It's like the corner of the quarter panel right here. That was nothing but like I guess that's putty. Maybe there's some tiger hair in there. I don't know. But there's zero metal right here, right? And now you can see here, this is the original quarter right here, or excuse me, this inner is the original quarter, and it looks like they put another quarter panel right over top of it. So you can see that real good now. It's the same thing with this whole package tray. You can see how deep the mud goes down in there. I'm sure this is all rotted out. We don't really care. We got a new one and we're changing it, but you know, that we're going to use this just to kind of line up the back of our floor for now, I guess you could say. So I took the rest of the drop down corners off. You can see there was really nothing left to them, the filler pieces and all that stuff. And I don't know if any of that is the crossover piece bottom. I don't know if that's the drop down or that's the crossover piece flange. I have no idea. It was just, you know, it's been repaired so many times, it was just a mess. So let me get this all vacuumed up and get this cord and everything out of my way, and then I'll drag that floor up here and we'll see if I can get it in place and just to see what it's going to look like. You know, another thing I was thinking too is that lip on that floor. I like I said, I knew when I drilled it, I'm like, man, I hope I don't have to weld them from the bottom, but I might have to, because I think I might have had to stamp the other part and not this part. We'll find out. I might be wrong. I might be able to weld them from inside the car. We're going to see, but whatever I have to do, I'll do. I maybe should have waited on that, but it is what it is. It's not like I've done this before. All right, so let me get that mess cleaned up and I'll drag the floor up, and when I do that, I'll bring you guys back. All right, guys, I carried the floor up from the shed, and I'm telling you, I think that floor is heavier than the main floor. I really believe that. It's got a little weight to it. Let me bring you over here. I moved the Chevy further back into the yard when I was grinding all that rust and everything earlier. Let that thing get a bunch of stuff on it. But we got the floor all cleaned up and everything, so I'm going to just climb under there. I think I'll use the floor jack in that 4x4 and see if I can kind of balance it on that and try to just wiggle it up into place. It might take me a couple tries. I don't know. We'll see. After much deliberation, that bar that I have on the back. I was going to use that to line up my frame rails. I got to cut that off. Now I could put it back, I'll mark it and put it back on. I do have precise measurements. That was just for me. But there's no way the floor will go in. It's too wide in the back. It has to come straight up into right here into this pocket. And there's no way to get it over top of that bar. I tried a couple different ways. I was going to try to come through here and snake it down through. But there's only a 3-inch gap there. And that brace right there underneath the floor is way more than 3 inches. So let me get my grinder out and cut that bar off. We took the bar off. Now let's see if we can get that floor put in there. That should go right in now. I hope anyway. We'll find out. Maybe I could strap it to something back here and then just put the jack on there and jack it up. Let's see. All right, guys, I thought the camera was on, but it wasn't. All I did was I put my come along on this hook right here. I guess that's for, I don't know, it's something for a tie down. Maybe it was for the bumper jack or something, I don't know, but whatever it's for, it ripped that right off. So I just put the hook right into the hole there. And then I got coming through the package tray, I just picked it up and swung it in. And then I just got a couple C-clamps in the back. I just got on, after I got the come along to take the front weight so that I couldn't get crushed or anything, I just jumped underneath, and it really wasn't terrible. All I had to do was throw the lip on the inside right there. Now I think that's right, guys. I tried it, putting it on the outside underneath, and it wasn't it wasn't working. It wasn't going high enough. If the lip was preventing the lip of the trunk floor was preventing it from going up anymore, and it needed to go higher. I mean, it's going to take some pushing and pulling around. I also, the floor, when I put this weight on it, the floor sagged, so I had to put that jack back in there to get that back up. But that looks pretty good. And I think that I did that right by doing the holes underneath, because if I remember correctly, those were welded underneath, and then the lip on the inside was also welded, and then it was also welded on that firewall. So there was like 3 rows. It's all coming back to me now. There was like 3 rows, and if I can go back and look at a short, that gap down in there, there was one of those fire flame, what are those things? Those flares. There was an old flare that was broken in there, and if I would have hit that with my plasma cutter, we would have burnt the whole place down. But we're close, okay? So we know we have to put drop downs in there. You can see here, I'm going to have to like play around and pull things up, probably with some self tappers. We're really close. I mean, like I said, I got to play with it a little bit. Hindsight 2020, I bet you it's probably better to do this job with the inner tubs out, I think. But I don't. You would still play heck getting them in there either way, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna have to push and pull some stuff around. All right, I'm gonna drop back and punt for the night. I did enough. I'm tired. I started late too. I got to get the car put away, and maybe we'll mess with it a little bit tomorrow. But I'll tell you, that was a heck of a lot harder to get in than that main floor. That main floor just fell right in. That one was tough. All right, we'll pick this up tomorrow. Hey guys, it's the next day, and I've been messing around out here. I'm trying to get things lined up, and I figured this is a good time to bring you in and show you. Sorry I waited so long because it's getting kind of dark. I've been out here for about an hour and a half just kind of playing around and looking at everything and what I could possibly do. And I'll show you what I've come up with so far. First thing is, if you look at this bubble, it's favoring this line, and that's on the car. That's just taking a number off the car or a measurement off the car, and the trunk pan matches that perfectly. Okay, now It's just like aesthetically looking at it eyeball wise, it's like it's closer to that hinge than it is that hinge, but it might have been that way from the factory. I don't know. Maybe you guys with Novas could tell me. I don't know. It's like, you know, maybe I weigh, I don't really think it matters that much. It's like I'm right to that stamp mark on the front there, and I'm following them stamp marks pretty close there. So are those wheel tubs perfect? Located? Probably not, but they're pretty gosh darn close, right? Now I took the drop down pieces, and guys, they're just laying in there. This might drop down in, but you can see it sucks that gap right up right there. So they're where they go. Same thing on this side. If you see that, I'll show you. See, they fit right in there. And I mean, I still have a little bit of remnant down there from the old one I got to cut off. So it is what it is, right? Okay, so that all lines up pretty good. The one measurement I can't seem to get, and it might be nothing, I don't know, but I'll show you real quick. Now before I took that little remnant piece of floor off that I had left, when I took a measurement from here to the end, it was about 1 5/8, right? This one is about 1.5 inches, maybe a hair more. So this one's almost identical to where it was. This one over here was a little bit shorter, but it was on the 1.5 inch side. And now it's all the way down to 1.25 inches. So I have a 1/4 inch difference from this side to that side. How critical was that measurement? I don't know. I don't think very. I mean, this is full of putty. This thing was hitting the back, I guarantee it. It was probably hitting the front. This side was just a rotted mess. I mean, and people tried to fix it before I got the car. For those of you that been watching, you know about this quarter they hung. For those of you that this is your first time, this is the nightmare. They put this quarter piece on, and when they mounted it, it's mounted kind of like, if I do the flashlight, kind of like this. And I can't say that it was their fault. I'll even show you the door gap. And the door gap was like this before we ever cut any floor or anything like that, so it wasn't that. You can see the gap's okay up here, but it almost touches down here. And what happened was, the gap was decent before I cut this quarter loose at the bottom, and I'll show you why. If I get down here, see there's 3 tacks right there. They had this quarter tacked to the outside of the rocker because that's all the metal there was. Okay, I don't know what happened to the camera there, but something happened. When I cut these 3 tacks loose, this quarter panel, it was under a tremendous amount of stress. And as soon as I cut those loose to replace this rocker, the whole quarter panel relaxed. And when it relaxed, that's what happened. That gap, it was actually touching the door at the bottom while I was working, so I just hacked that little piece off. But I mean, that was way before we cut the floors out or anything like that. That was that was the beginning of the taking the jigsaw apart. But that's when we replaced the whole rocker. So, you know, I can't get stressed out about this 1/4 inch because I don't know what's all going on here yet. And if I have to cheat something, I'll cheat something. I'm gonna do what I have to do, right? So that's just what we're gonna do. Oh, let me grab the flashlight. I'll bring you underneath and show you what I'm looking at underneath. All right, I know that the floor's in there, right? You know, we looked at that the last time, but we're gonna have to make those welds going across there. We're matching up really good here, and now the floor's about a 1/2 inch above the lip of the wheel tub here on that side, and on this side it's almost 3/4 of an inch hanging down. And like I said, those inner wheel wells are not identical on each side. They're both different from each other, but you can see how all our contours, all the contours line up perfectly. So this is where it's supposed to go as far as I'm concerned. You see how the floor is just at the edge of the wheel tub. The wheel tub lines up with the edge of the trunk pan here, the floor pan here. It's just everything where it goes, and I'm really happy with it. Now the one thing we're gonna have to do underneath here, I'm not taking this floor back out. So Yes, I'm going to drill. I'm going to drill the holes with it in place. That's not going to be fun, but I'm going to do it. And at the wheel wells here where it's real tight, I'll try one this way. If I can't, I don't care. I'll put them in the other way. It doesn't matter to me. Who's going to get up underneath there and look at my wheel wells? I don't care. You know, as long as it's solid metal, what the heck's the difference? But I do not want to take this trunk pan back down. It was really rough to get in there with just Brian by himself, so I'd rather not. So we're just going to have to do that by hand. Either that or, you know what, maybe I'll run down to Harbor Freight and maybe I'll treat myself to one of those spot welders like Hot Rod Don's Hot Rod Garage has. Remember we saw him using his when he was putting that rocker on his 55 convertible. Maybe I'll go treat myself to one of those. That's a good idea. I might just do that, you know, because that way there I could even spot weld this light tray to the trunk pan here and then do the crossover piece that goes right below that, right? All right, let's take a quick look inside the car and wrap this up. Okay, you guys can see, let's try to do it this way. The lip comes inside just like it's supposed to, and it's right on top of these stamps. So it goes a little past and it's sticking up. But as soon as you go in about a 1/4 inch, it's touching metal to metal, and we'll pull it all up tight. Then I think I'm just going to peen these down, and we're going to drill all those, and then we'll plug weld those. And it's like, I remember this now because it was a nightmare to get that trunk pan out. There was 3 rows of welds. There were these, the ones on the bottom that we already looked at, and then we had these ones going across the package tray. It still wouldn't come out. I had like one thing holding it up, and I started fishing for stuff that wasn't there. I got to fill those holes up. Don't ask me. It was getting late at night, and I wasn't thinking. That's what happened there. All right, so we're gonna talk to Kim about treating ourselves to one of those spot welders. And I think that's how I'm going to put this trunk pan in. We still have to lay on our back and weld the floor pan in. We've only got a few screws in the back, and we got it resting on this lip up here with a couple self tappers, and we have the 2 frame mounts to bolted all the way down. So the floor is not going nowhere, but we do have to lay under there and plug weld all that on both sides. We can't use the spot welder there because there's the difference in the length is way too much. It wouldn't work. But that's what we got going. All right. My 55 sure looks nice. I might take that for a ride this weekend. I haven't had it out in 2 weeks. When you got toys, you're supposed to play with them. Right. All right, guys. So this is I guess it's a medium, big update to small update. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's an update. You know, that's what I'm doing. You guys can see we got the trunk pan positioned in the car. So that's a plus. That's something, and you can see our drop downs fit and everything like that. My one little concern here is we're a 1/4 inch difference in this corner to that corner, and I showed you the 1/4 panel. I don't know what's going on. I'll cheat whatever I have to cheat down the road. I know that you don't want to exacerbate it. It'll get worse and worse, but there's nowhere to get that out of. There's just, you know, going by that 1/4 panel, the way I watched that metal relax as soon as I cut them 3 tacks, it's telling me there was problems here long before we got the car. All right, so that's what I got. I hope you guys liked the video. I had fun making it. I mean, I put this trunk pan in right after the floor pan because I was like, man, I got to make sure everything fits before I start welding stuff. I think we're about ready to weld and get this whole bottom of the car done, and then we can start taking the sheet metal off the top of the car. That'll be kind of fun. Do something different for a while. So if you haven't yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, and it sure does help me. Till next time, take care, everybody.